What's up, everybody? Got another great special guest for this interview, Dashaun Mallory, another Bolingbrook guy doing his thing at Michigan State. How we doing today, man?
Doing good, man. How you doing today?
We're great. Hey, great to have you on the show. We're great now.
I appreciate it.
But you ready to jump into this?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, now. So let's start from all the way from the beginning. What made you want to play football?
I say what made me want to play football, man, was just being around my friends at the time. The friends I grew up with, they was in the sports before me. I was kind of like the guy that would just hang around, and as soon as they had to go to practice, I'd dip, I'd go straight home. But one day, I just
Was you sad on the way home?
You said what?
Was you sad on the way home?
No, I wasn't sad. It was more so like, y'all finna go to practice, I get to go chill. Like, I was cool with that. Like, I was fine. Like, sports wasn't even like a thing growing up to me. Like, I knew what sports was, but I was never like really intrigued with them to like do them. Until one summer, my cousins, their dad was just like, dude, you be over here all the time. Like, you got good size on you. You the same age as my boys. Like, you might as well just come out to practice. And at first it was just like, you know what I'm saying, I get to go outside and play football with my homies, but I want to say my second year after playing Pop Warner, I saw football like just so different. Like, to me, I was able just to see, like, man, maybe I can like really take this somewhere. Like, maybe I can go somewhere far with football. Like, why not try to take it serious? And I just think like the coaches I had then, just the environment I grew up in, that was always our mindset. I'm sure, as y'all can say anyway too. That's just how we come up. Like, you see football where we from is like, man, if you could play football, you can get out in a way. Not saying that we come from any type of struggle, nothing like that, but football was everybody's ticket. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I wanted to join that group. Like, man, if they doing all of that and they get to go to college and blah blah blah, like I want to be able to do that too. Like, why not me? And I just think from there, that's what just started it all off.
Right.
Nah, I definitely know some coaches, like some football coaches, go in the grocery store. Hey, you look like you can play football. Go to practice.
Yeah, recruiting at the AAU games and shit.
But now you hinted at it a little bit. But what was like the real moment, like after a game, having like 2 sacks or something, where you're like, maybe I can be a good football player. Maybe I can go D1 or something.
I ain't too bad at this.
I want to say maybe not until high school. I feel like all Pop Warner was just having fun. You know what I'm saying? I feel like playing Little League is you playing Little League as you should. You know, you out there every Saturday. You out there with your closest friends that you can consider brothers at the time. That's like your first time you can consider outside your family, like some dudes that you can say you comfortable around.
Right.
So I feel like to me, that was just a period of just genuinely having fun. But I want to say maybe my sophomore year on varsity in high school. I mean, y'all know, you play at BHS, you on varsity. Oh my gosh, you got clout. It is so lame. It is so lame. But I mean, that's just how it was. So to me, I'm like, man, I'm a sophomore. I'm up here. Like, to me, it was like, you got to prove yourself before you can get to them Friday nights. And I want to say it was one practice. I was going against Micah Dude. Everybody know Big Micah Dude.
Shout out,
and
Micah.
I was like the young bull. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was a fresh body in the pond. It was like, okay, let's see what we can do. And I want to say, like, we was doing like the Oklahoma drill where we just lined up, go head to head, and just see who can out-muscle who. And I remember that first pop, I was like, yo. This
Micah
is definitely not
your ass.
I'm like, this definitely ain't Little League. Of course, everybody laughing, everybody jumping up and down. I'm like, hold up, y'all not finna hold me. Hold up, go again.
Yeah, run that back.
Run it back.
And I think it was just that mindset. Like, I think I still got my ass beat just because I was a young boy. But like, I think to me, when I just told myself, like, hell no, like, y'all not finna sit here and laugh and hold me. Like, show me the ones. Like, let me get that back. I think that was when I was like, man, if I can compete against these dudes, obviously everybody was all state and going to big programs and stuff like that. So they already had a name built for themselves. So it was like, if you ain't finna back down from them, I ain't scared of nobody at the time. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I felt like the minute I ain't really back down, and mind you, he was like 8 inches taller than me. And I thought I was big dude. I thought I was big dog. No, heck no. And he weighed more than me. So to me, me not being intimidated, I say that's when I just kind of was like, man, if I ain't scared of him, I'm definitely not going to be scared of nobody else that line up against me every other Friday. Like, you got me messed up. You know what I mean? And that's just how I saw it. Just the mentality. Like, when I went out there, it was like, bro, I'm going to bust your head in. I don't care. I don't even know you, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was like, the more I just kept trying to continue to trust myself, just go out there and try to ball. I mean, it was just every day. It was like, Sean, you can really do this, bro.
Right.
So just that right there.
Who went in that drill between you and Micah today? If y'all had to run
today?
It back.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know he watching this. We'll tag
Oh
him in
yeah,
the
I know
clip.
he watching.
Shout out Micah.
My guy Micah, you my brother, bro. But I say
he gotta see you.
It's me. It's me.
We like that. We like
day.
that.
Okay.
I get me all day. I got to.
But now, so you talked about guys like Micah do. How was it coming into a program like Bolingbrook, seeing the guys before you all go to big programs like Tough Borland's, my brothers, all of us, all of them went to big programs. What was it like coming to school like that?
I ain't gonna lie. Like, I feel like all the Huffs, Tough, and Micah, like Armani too. Armani, a lot of great guys. Parker. I feel like growing up, if you knew like the little football roots of Bolingbrook, you looked up to everybody like legends almost. So when I say, going into my second year of Pop Warner, when I started to be like, man, these dudes is darn near from around the same block as me, I'm gonna join that wave. Like, don't nobody really know them. Everybody know that they call that football though. I want to be like that. Like, to me, it was like an inspiration. So I feel like when I actually got to play at Bolingbrook, especially getting put on varsity off rip, it was like, not on no fanboy shit. I used to watch everybody highlight. Like, I used to go home and like, yeah, I'm at practice with these dudes. You gotta be, you know what I'm saying? I used to hype it up, but that's truly how it was. Like, to me, y'all was like goats. Like, man, this dude, like, you see him on TV, like TV in high school. What you talking about? TV, football, high school. So I feel like playing in that atmosphere, being around y'all was almost like a competition almost every day. Like, to me, that's how I saw it. Like, I know everybody was out there like, oh, we had practice, I'm in high school. To me, it was like, no, I want to be better than him now. Like, not saying I want to be better than your clout or what you got going for yourself, but I want to join that wave of opportunity that you got built for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, like I said, that's how I've always saw it. So I think just being in that weight room with Coach Ivelo, like, you was Coach Ivelo boy if you was in his inner circle. So like them low key weekend workouts and stuff like that, those type of moments where he's sitting there telling you like, you remind me of this kid, or you can go down the same path as him. Like, I used to take them type of conversations serious. Like, no disrespect to our private one-on-ones, but like, I used to take genuine respect and like truly believe like the stuff he used to say to me, because it's like, man, if he see that and he didn't coach these dudes, I know I must be on the right path. So I want to do that. And then it's like, although I am on this path, whether y'all situation or not, I just know I want to push further, because I know there's somebody from the crib looking at me probably the same way, and I don't even know. Probably you didn't even know this, probably tell this right now. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it was. Like, man, just being at BHS, truly, if you was in that football atmosphere, like really trying to take it far, I know everybody was out there like, oh, we had practice, I'm in high school. To me, it was like, no, I want to be better than him now. Like, not saying I want to be better than your clout or what you got going for yourself, but I want to join that wave of opportunity that you got built for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, like I said, that's how I've always saw it. So I think just being in that weight room with Coach Ivelo, like, you was Coach Ivelo boy if you was in his inner circle. So like them low key weekend workouts and stuff like that, those type of moments where he's sitting there telling you like, you remind me of this kid, or you can go down the same path as him. Like, I used to take them type of conversations serious. Like, no disrespect to our private one-on-ones, but like, I used to take genuine respect and like truly believe like the stuff he used to say to me, because it's like, man, if he see that and he didn't coach these dudes, I know I must be on the right path. So I want to do that. And then it's like, although I am on this path, whether y'all situation or not, I just know I want to push further, because I know there's somebody from the crib looking at me probably the same way, and I don't even know. Probably you didn't even know this, probably tell this right now. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it was. Like, man, just being at BHS, truly, if you was in that football atmosphere, like really trying to take it far, you knew how competitive it was, and you knew how like serious it truly needed to be. And I felt like if you was able to be on your P's and Q's and be aware of that at a right time, at an early time, you able to sit here today and be like, man, I didn't did that. Part one, though, like phase one, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about limits. And I never saw that from y'all. Like, I swear I used to watch, like I said, I used to watch all y'all highlights, like even before games on some lame shit, like just for real, like I used to wear the same uniform. I used to get to wear the same helmet. It's like, man, I want to be that dude. Like, what you mean?
Nah, that's the fact.
So I used to go out there and just ball.
Jaden got them genuine conversations a lot. He still get them too, because that's his father-in-law about to be.
Man.
Right. No, yeah, and to your point, like even when I was growing up, coming into high school, we fanned out when Jamel Martin, Dale Martin, and just the lineage of running backs to come before me. It was like I watched their tapes religiously. Ivlo used to give me all of their tapes on DVD.
Right.
I used to pop them in the Xbox and watch them. Watch Dale Martin, hit the year he went All-American. So no, it all goes the same. I mean, for your perspective, how, like, for the audience, describe Bolingbrook and the rich talent pool we became from the very beginning. From your perspective, how would you describe that from somebody who never even heard of Bolingbrook?
I feel like I've been preparing for this question for the longest. I don't know why, and that's weird to say, but
everybody does, bro.
You feel me? But to me personally, like, besides all the BS, like, yeah, I can say I'm doing this for me. I can say I'm doing this for Mallory. I'm doing this for moms. Bro, I swear to God, like, if I can when I pull this shit off, because I know I will, like, just say, even just get into the league. To me, it's like I didn't put Bolingbrook on the map. Like, I didn't watch the dudes ahead of me get there. Attempt to get there. If they came up short, okay, but they was on that path. I feel like, truly, bottom of my heart, I feel like I got to be that one now. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody above me didn't pass down the rituals. I've been watching behind the scenes. I'm studying. I'm seeing what y'all do. So now, to me, it's like y'all done passed down the keys to me, and it's like I got to take it there. Like, I feel like Bolingbrook is truly, truly, truly slept on. Like, we got some dogs, and they hurt me sometimes. Like, even when I be out there, like during the pledge, you know how like you stand off there and you be looking in the crowd and stuff like that. To me, I'd be like, bro, I know so many of my dogs that like could be here. Maybe not this school, but be at this level. Like, y'all was just maybe just a little bit more locked in, but it's like, scratch that. Like, there is talent. Basketball, soccer, like there's like, no matter what it is, Bolingbrook is slept on, I swear. I swear we are.
Yeah, fuck Texas, fuck all the Florida Jets and all them.
I wouldn't say that.
Got it.
Right. I wouldn't go there.
But now, so you mentioned it a little, being a freshman on varsity specifically, what was that like? Being the young guy coming in, and you were playing too. You were getting some tick out there too.
Listen, if you very football oriented, and you don't just see, oh, I'm a freshman on varsity, like, oh my gosh, cloud. But if you see it as like, yo, I'm a freshman on varsity, these motherfuckers must see something in me. Like, if it's like that type of mentality, to me, it was, I wouldn't say it was bad pressure. It was good pressure, because it was like, okay, now I'm up here, now what? You got to show them something. So to me, it was kind of like a prove it type of mentality. And I learned very slow. I can admit that. I learned very, very slow. But I'm glad I took the time that I did. But being a freshman on varsity do humble you, because you coming out of Pop Warner. Everybody thinks they're a dog coming out of Pop Warner. Everybody can throw their mama, they the greatest in the world in Pop Warner. But you get to high school, I don't know. It's like that different. You can definitely tell the difference between, okay, he trying to get to college. He playing this because his people trying to get him out the house. He playing this just because to put this on his resume. But it's like that dude that's trying to go to college, pay attention to him. And it's like you can tell that difference. And I feel like, again, for me, being a freshman on varsity, you could definitely tell the dudes that was up there just goofing around. Oh my gosh, I'm on varsity. Then it was like, hold up, he move a little different. I want to see what's up with that. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it was like, if you can dive into that, that's where the pressure kind of come from in a good way. Because it's like, if you craving that, then it's like you got no choice almost but to be that. I feel like, to me, it almost kind of happened easily. Like, as soon as I got there, it was like, oh, this why they want me up here. Right. Okay, not gonna lock in, but how can I figure it out? Type of thing. But I say being a freshman on varsity, like I said, it humble you in a good way if you can pay attention. That's what I say.
No, that's a fact.
Definitely. Shit, you seem like you be locked in too. Every time I saw you in the hallways, you was locked in. Even walking to class and shit, locked in constantly.
Well, like, never late.
I say, I'll be real. I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, I treated school like I was trying to go to school to get straight A's. I wasn't that guy. Let's be real. Like, I'll be humble and say that I wasn't. But to me, it was like I knew I had to go to school if I wanted to go to a big time program. Like, the ball. You could ball all day all you want, but it's like, bro, them grades gotta back up your play, low key, or other way around, whatever way you see it. But I know for a fact that I just needed the grades. So it was like, to me, going to school, like, yeah, you can laugh, you can sit there and be in lunch and think it's you in the living room, like whatever, you can be blind to the believers all you want. But it's like, to me, it was just like, I was just in there with a purpose. Like, to me, I know I gotta go to school so I can go to college. Then it's like, I'm going to practice. I know I got to go to practice so I can ball on Friday so they can see that I can get into college. I can play there, type of thing. Like, to me, I just wasn't with the gimmicks. I knew what I was on.
I mean, it seemed like you got a great mentality and was able to lock in at the task at hand and look at it. Also zoom out and be able to look at the big picture and how it all played in of each other. So from your perspective, where does that come from, that mentality to be able to lock in like that?
Not on no cliche shit, not even to swear, but not on no cliche shit to the point where I just truly believe, like, I got to be him. Like, to me, I just felt like Sean, I'm talking to myself in third person, but to me, it was always like, I had to be the one, or I got to be the one to where it's like, I did it. I proved to the crib that we can do it. Now I put y'all on the map. Now y'all got no choice but to follow that. Not saying that you got to be forced to, but it's like, if you truly believe it, I didn't set the way now. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like just believing in myself, I feel like that's truly just me standing on my words. You know what I'm saying? And I'm willing to gamble on that. Like, I won't hesitate on that. I don't even care. Like, oh, you can't do that. Like, I'll prove you wrong. Like, I enjoy that aspect. I got to prove you wrong now. I'm going to work to every extent now. I'm intrigued by that thought because it's like, I crave that. Like, to me, I don't know. You got to wake up with a bad taste in your mouth, for real. And I'm not saying every day is easy, but I know when I go out there, I work my ass off with a purpose because it's like, this ain't only for me. Like, if I get to walk across that stage, put on the NFL hat, you know what I'm saying, shake the commissioner, first words out my mouth, Bolingbrook. I promise you. That's I swear. Because, bro, like, I'm telling you, like, I just know so many people that's like, bro, we special too. I swear we are. Swear. I couldn't really tell you where that comes from. But go ahead. My fault.
Nah, you good. You the interviewee. It's your show. Having that, talking about that cloud, talking about like locking in and stuff. What was it like? You know, in the later years, you were a top defensive lineman in the state doing your thing. What was it like seeing those edgy team reviews, having him come to the games, the outside stuff, the articles being wrote after the games and stuff? Did that kind of play a factor in some of your mindset about the game?
I truly would say I just believed in my routine. You know what I'm saying? I was balling way before I even knew about the edgy Tim. And that's not to discredit edgy Tim. That's not to disrespect him at all. What he does for his job is incredible. He puts people's names out there. He puts athletes' names out there. He does a tremendous job. To me, I saw it as, I've been balling since Pop Warner. To me, in my head, I've been already trying to get to the league, so to say. So it's like, before you came around and tried to also push my name, I didn't already believe in myself. So it's not necessarily that I saw like I didn't need it. To me, it was just easy for me to understand, Dashaun, you wake up every day, you go to school. If you're not in school, you at practice. If you're not at practice, you in the house. Everything else is irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Stick to your life. You stick to what you know. Stick to what you do. And I'd say what most people fail to realize growing up in Bolingbrook is that as intriguing as the thought is trying to make it somewhere big, that cloud sucks you in so bad to where you're trying to prove it to everybody else now. Right. So to say, like when offers come around, oh, I'm so blessed to receive my 15 offer. Hey, okay, that's what I'm saying. Not to hate though. Okay, congratulations. But what's the need for that? So to me,
you don't gotta post all like 75.
You feel me? Like, okay,
schools, you know you're not going to.
You feel me? Like, we get it. You know what I'm saying? So to me, receiving like the edgy Tim stuff, or just even receiving great credentials from people that view me highly, I was grateful for it, but I never felt the need to let that enter my life, my personal life, as far as
which is important.
It being a distraction. I never thought that.
No, that's awesome. When in your college career did you start to get that national recruiting attention from like those big schools? And from your perspective, did that change anything about what you was doing, or did that validate what you were doing? Like, okay, now I find like this is a huge checkpoint for me.
To answer your first point, I feel like it never got to me, but I'd say I started to get national attention from colleges. Probably, and that's humbly to say, like, I'm not like, I'm not no 5-star. I wasn't no 4-star, 3-star. But some schools to where it was like, hey, hold up, this big time program coming here to Bolingbrook? Oh, okay. Somebody must know something. I say it was probably after my sophomore season. I want to say Illinois was the first school that ever came to speak to me. And I think at that moment, yes, it hit me as far as like, okay, boom, you could do something. People are watching now.
Right.
And then it was the thought, okay, people are watching now. Now you got to stay who you've been before they started watching. You just got to remain in ball mentality. So to me, like I said, I'll admit, I was like that lame guy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really go outside. I wasn't really with parties and all that type of stuff. To me, I just knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to chase. You know what I'm saying? So when that stuff started to come around toward my end of my sophomore season, Coach Ivo sat me down. Like I said, Jaden, you know how it is. Mike, if you do, you understand. He'll sit you down and give you that talk to where it's like, look, if you want to take it there, I can tell you how to get there, but I'm not going to force you. You just got to listen, type of thing. And to me, it was like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, this is all I've been waiting for. And then it was like sticking with him. And that's not to discredit my parents or try to exclude my parents from the situation at all. Talking with them too, like they didn't keep my head strong, but Coach Ivo, he's more of a football mind. He obviously hands-on because he's my coach. Those conversations with him was like, okay, if he on my team, he riding for me, he got my back, then I'm definitely I gotta go all the way down. Because I feel like he didn't give me a blueprint that I was able to follow. And it was like from there, it was like he told me the route. And as you know, Coach Ivo was a very successful football player. Played at Colorado State and played in the NFL. Like, that's crazy. And they won a Super Bowl, I believe. So it's like, I've generally taken his words to heart. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this dude obviously know what he's talking about. So he was always just saying, like, obviously, I'm not no celebrity, so don't act like when media is there or like people come to record you for a game, don't act different. You know what I'm saying? They're just somebody there's somebody giving you their opinion. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you got to act accordingly, but answer truthfully and move on about your day. Like, not saying ignore them, but understand that they not the ones that got to line up at the end of the day, type of thing. So it never got to me.
So now, like, I feel like nowadays a lot of people think, going D1 is so damn easy. You get those offers, it just comes out of nowhere. So what was some of the work you were putting in, some of the preparation? Like, you get that first offer, you're trying to take it to that next level. What was some of the stuff you were doing for those offers, you like in your spare time, putting in the work? You mentioned staying in locked in, but what was some other stuff you were doing?
Okay, so tell you the truth, before I was telling you, like, I was going to school, I wasn't really a straight A guy. So off rip, one of the things I had to like get on my ass about was school. When that, I guess you would say, national attention, D1 schools started to pay attention to me, the first thing they would bring up was like, yo, like, you can play ball. But man, as soon as you hear that, ooh,
hey, that butt.
Oh, You don't want to hear that. So that was one thing that I had to, you know what I'm saying, own up about. And I feel like I'm glad I was able to get on myself about that early, because then it was like, okay, you can play ball all you want. You could either be a high school legend or you could take it further. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like, if I got to give up my summers, if I got to give up my lunch, okay. Like, okay, I start off on the back foot. I'm trying to correct my wrongs. You know what I mean?
Right.
So to me, I feel like that's just when it started. Like, just me starting to pay attention to academics. Not saying that I was a dummy, but like, I would go to school to pass because I know I had to play, or that I was just trying to pass to play, but I knew I had to take it further with that. So one thing that I had to get in line with was education, get on my ass about that, take school way more serious. And then little do people know, I was a lot heavier my sophomore year than I was my junior year. So my sophomore year, I weighed like 305. I remember Coach Ivla always used to weigh us every June before we started like the summer camp or whatever. And he was like, man, going into your junior year is like, obviously, as y'all know, your junior year in high school was like that year, like, yo, I guess I can start getting recruited and stuff like that. So you got the ball out regardless. And he was just like, if you want to start getting really, really like recruited by top programs, like you gotta be fast, you gotta be in shape, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? All the football credentials that everybody want to see nowadays, like be fast, physical, be able to stay out there, blah, blah, blah. And to me, he was just like, look, we're going to get on a diet. I'm going to work you out myself. You know how Coach Ivlo is. Like, he loves doing he thinks he's the man. He is, though. He captain around the crib. He captain around the crib. But, like, I'm going to work you out myself. We're going to get you right. And by the time August come around, by the first game, you're going to be a completely different dude. June, I was 305. That August, I was 265. I came back that year a different dude. And I think just that mentality of I took my whole summer serious. Like, I knew, okay, going in my junior year, got to play tremendous ball. Got to, like, my grades got to be top to par, because then you start taking, like, the SAT and stuff like that. And it was, like, me going into that year, how locked in I was, or just trying to understand, like, man, dang, do I really got to lose this weight just to play? Like, do I even really want to do this? Do I even really want to play college ball? And like I said, it was just being around Coach Ivlo, talking with my family and stuff like that. And it was just like, if this is really what you want to do, like, you got to lock in. Like, if you truly want to do it, ain't nobody, you can't, like, no one can force you to do it. Like, it got to come down to you. And it was just like, I can't see myself doing nothing else. The ball is all I know. So it was like, I got to get it done as far as proving it. Like, okay, I'm about to prove it to y'all. I can lose this weight and come back a different dude and ball out my junior year. And then, I mean, from there, we here today type of thing. So.
Shit, and just the schoolwork and putting in the work outside of school and stuff, that shit paid off, obviously, because in college, once you got there, it was like, I've been doing this shit already. I already got the work ethic. School is already, I already made it a priority. So, shit, big ups to you for that, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. So now looking back, obviously you balled out your junior and senior year. What point in the recruiting process did Michigan State become number one? And what ultimately led you to make the decision to go there?
Michigan State was in the picture my freshman year. I'm at Michigan State, my freshman year of high school. But not on no recruiting stuff. They was there to meet another player. I just so happened to be in the room. You know how Coach Island was trying to play it.
Right.
You know how Coach Island was trying to play it. So I just so happened to be in there at the same time. And, it was kind of like an introduced thing. And it was like, but Coach Ivlo, the one thing I respect about Coach Ivlo is that he keep it 100. And as he's sitting there, as he's sitting there telling the college coach, oh, yeah, tremendous player, obedient, blah, 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 blah. But here are his grades. Like, he'll do that.
All right.
So that was my little situation. So, so it was like from there, they kind of, I wouldn't say I was on the radar, but if I was on some high school team shit, oh my gosh, I was on the radar for Michigan State.
Right.
But
I was in the room with him.
You feel me? On some lame shit. But I say from there, it kind of like, I feel like just because they was like my very first school, in a way that I kind of came in contact with, shook somebody's hand like from a college sport. To me, in my head, it was like, oh yeah, okay. I gotta go there. You know what I'm saying? But like in middle school, they was like on some like mentally, they was on some they was like a football team that I wanted to go to. Like I had just saw like a highlight of them playing Michigan.
Right.
Their defense was going crazy. I'm like, yeah, I would love to play there one day. But sitting in that room my freshman year in high school was kind of like, for some reason, I just felt connected because it was like, in a way, they wasn't telling me like, okay, who is you? But it was also like, you a freshman, who is you? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I kind of took it as like, okay, if they just shook my hand, looked me dead in the eye, said what they said, why wouldn't I lock in? Why wouldn't I lock in? Would it have been them? No, but in the back of my mind, I kept it them. So it just pretty much came to fruition, to be honest with you.
Now, so you settled on Michigan State. What was that transition from high school football to college football like?
Ooh.
I know it's tough. Them winter workouts, shit.
Hey. Okay.
Voluntary workouts too. Hopefully you made some of those.
You said, wait, what'd you say?
Them voluntary optional workouts too. You can't miss them.
First of all, them voluntary optional workouts is such a scam. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I almost hit the snooze on the alarm. I heard optional. I was like,
it's optional, but your ass better be there 10 minutes early.
Right, locked in.
But no, I say my transition, or the transition from high school football to college football, was a complete uppercut from Mike Tyson. Like, I feel, first of all, I feel like just the time. You got to be up early for everything, like everything.
Yeah, definitely.
But I wouldn't say that I wasn't used to that. I feel like I have always been an early person, but I realized the consistency of like how early you have to be up every single day. But I'd say, of course, working out. Obviously, college sports take working out way more serious than high school. And as y'all know from BHS, Coach Aglo did a good job of the summer workouts, winter workouts, and then obviously Zane. Which like I said, Coach Aglo know what he's doing. He's a smart man. But that's one thing that I noticed, how rigorous just you had to be a little bit in college. Not saying that you had to be like walking on eggshells, but just, I mean, you coming in brand new. Everybody that's coming in your freshman class just left from being that guy. All state, national, rank, blah, blah, blah. It don't matter. Now you get this is a whole brand new sheet of paper. Like, you coming in, everybody on this team, they know each other for whatever years. The coaching staff locked in, they twin. You coming in, don't nobody know you for nothing. I feel like that was one thing. Like, you could, like in high school, you transitioned from middle school. Now, you didn't know so many people either from that middle school you went to or just locally. But you coming into college, don't know not one person. Maybe you're like the dude who was recruiting you, maybe the coach that recruited you. But other than that, oh my gosh, you on your own on the island. And it's like off rip, that survival tactic, or that's a survival mode that you kind of in. I feel like that was very eye-opening because it was like, damn, Ma, you really left me up here for real? You know what I mean? But I feel like that was one thing that was just kind of eye-opening. But like I said, not in a scary way, though. A good transition.
Now, so what is some advice you would give to a high school football player that's about to go into that same transition? What are some things he got to get ready for?
One thing I would say get ready for, okay, look, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna let y'all in on my little mentality real quick. You can't give a fuck about nobody out there. You can't give a fuck about nobody out there. And I mean, don't disrespect your teammate. Don't disrespect your coach. But when you got on them shoulder pads, when you lined up and you doing drills, everything you do is a resume. Everything is building your resume. I'm talking about it don't matter what it is. Don't walk in there with no stink attitude. The way you do warm-ups, my guy, the way you tie your shoe, the way you blink. I'm talking about
the way you walk into the building.
That's what I'm saying. Like the way I'm talking about the way you walk in and see the janitor, you getting tested. You know what I'm saying? That's not to scare you. Oh my God, it's not to scare you. But I would say if you truly want this shit, whatever you think you know about football, whatever love, passion, craving you feel like you got for it, whatever you think you see yourself going, throw all that shit away right now. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but what you see now is child's play now. Like, you finna step into a business. And I don't mean to scare you when I say you are now just a jersey number to them, but you are. So you got to understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You got to understand, at least from where we come from, you got to understand, like, these coaches not going to shake up with you and be like, yo, come stay at the crib. You know how Coach Ilo used to be.
Right.
Come stay at the crib. I'll order some pizzas. We'll wake up and go to the breakfast spot downtown. Like, you know how he was. You know what I mean? These coaches not going to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And no matter what you do, you got to come in there on that every single day. Like when I say you can't give a fuck about nobody, yeah, you're going to build your little clique. You're going to surround yourself around your people. But when you in between them lines and them coaches is out there watching you, oh my gosh, you gotta dominate. I'm talking about every day though. You can't wake up Monday, Tuesday on that, yelling and clapping. They don't care about that. All the hype is dead. All the hype been dead. All the hype been dead. That's what people really gotta know. The sooner you can realize it is a business, low key, you can be okay. Because now you coming in there on some, this is my job now. You not coming into college like, oh my gosh, I get to wear the gear. I get to eat the meal. I got a cool ass book bag. Oh my God. No. You coming in there, that playbook, that binder, that is your life.
Right.
You better talk to yourself in that bitch. I swear to God. You know what I'm saying? Like, you better. That is your best friend. And it's just like this. Like I said, not to scare you, but the sooner you can realize the minute you get to college, as much as you trying to chase a job, them coaches are trying to keep a job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they trying to support their family.
Ain't no more. That's what I'm saying. Ain't no more of that, oh, I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart for my community. No, ain't no more of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just to get you in that mindset to where you got to come here and ball. They want people that can make plays. They want people that are consistent. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you think you know, whatever grind you think you have, you ain't got it.
Right.
I say just expect that uppercut because it's gonna come quick.
Yes.
But you gotta be able to trust yourself and dive deep for real.
Exactly. I feel like that first 6 to 12 months of college and being a college athlete is probably the hardest part of your time there. And if you can make it through that, college becomes like your home at that point, where now you've officially adopted what it's like to be a college athlete. You're comfortable in a bed that's not under the same roof as your parents and things like that. So from your perspective, when did you feel like you made that transition?
Awesome, honey. It took me a long time. Like I'm very, very, very family oriented. So any chance like we got off, and honestly, especially for my freshman year, I wasn't playing. Knew I was about to be a red shirt. Y'all don't need me. Y'all don't need me.
I'm out here on scout team, crash dummy.
with all due respect, y'all don't need me. I promise you. Y'all not even gonna notice that I'm gone. Even I was going home. You know what I'm saying? And I was just going home just to be like, damn, like I miss this. Like, dang, up there I can't think. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like my first few years, I was just constantly always running home for family and other reasons. But I want to say a little bit before COVID, it was like middle of my sophomore year, toward the end of my sophomore year. That's when I kind of told myself like, yo, like, Sean, what are you actually doing?
Right.
You go home every other weekend. Up here, you're suffering. Like I wouldn't say suffering, but like up here, football's not really, you know what I'm saying? You're pretty much up here going to school.
Right.
You're obligated to football, but like, what are you up here doing? You know what I'm saying? You kind of like lost in the sauce a little bit. And I remember, just like I said, waking up one day and I'm like, dog, I thought you was chasing something. I thought you were trying to do something. You know what I mean? You kind of get, like I said, you kind of get lost in the sauce, and it was like, I would just ask myself, like, I thought you was really trying to do something. You know what I mean? And I felt like I never had no routine, really. I lost the routine. I wasn't really focused on the right things. My priorities was not straight. Like, I felt like just my mind was just, I couldn't even tell you where it was. And to tell you the truth, I buried that old dude. Like, I had lost some weight just recently. And I jokingly say that I buried the old guy, but I can't even tell you like his mindset anymore. Like, just wasn't focused, wasn't clean, wasn't focused.
Right.
And I knew I had to change that. And it took me a long time to realize that. And I feel like when I got in that mindset of like and I remember telling like my mom, like, yo, because you know how it is. You away from home a while, family get to asking you, oh, when do you think you're going to come home? Or you come home this weekend? It's like, dang, I low-key can't, man. And it's like, I think just that, I remember one time my mom had asked, when was I coming home? And I was like, man, Ma, I think I'm going to just stay up here. Oh,
she snapped on you.
Yo, I don't know why that felt like the biggest heartbreak, because it was like, okay, now you locking in a way, like you choosing to be here now, like you're finally realizing this is where you are. You know what I'm saying? You're not attaching yourself to home no more. You truly trying to grow into you now, how I saw it or how I see it. And it was like once I did that, it got easier just to be like, man, I'm comfortable being up here now. Like, I know when Fridays come, I get to, you know what I'm saying, sit back and just be me or just be in my space versus like, dang, I got to go home, or I wish I was home, blah, blah, blah. I always wish I was home. But I feel like I'm just stronger now to know, like, I'm up here working. I'm up here with a purpose. I'm doing something. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I miss home. It's not a necessity to crave home. You know what I mean?
Now, so what was your welcome to college football moment then, you think?
As in, like, football practice and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you got knocked on your shit.
Like a Mike and Do moment, like you said earlier.
Okay.
But college version.
Ooh. I want to say, I low-key want to say freshman year, I was on some fat shit, but I know for sure no one could tip me over. That is so fat to say, but that's how it was. No one ever tipped me over. But I remember we had this linebacker, Andrew Dow, bro. They call him Big AD. You know how, like, Jaden, y'all know how college practice is. Where they be like, no tackling, this is thud, blah, blah.
Right.
And there's always that one dude missing everybody.
Right.
Dog, I swear. I don't even know how I was in. Somebody got hurt, so I was in with the one. So to me, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm with the starter.
Yeah.
You're
so
nervous as hell.
Different. So I'm out.
Yes.
I'd
be more nervous than the game.
Right. I'm out there on some panic shit like, what was the play, huh? What?
You can't hear that.
I'm out of it. These dudes back here comfortable. Interception. Dog. My man, he's looking me in my eye because I'm trying to, you know how like the interception drill is. You turn around, try to find the nearest man.
Right.
I don't know how I turned around and I laid eyes on him. This dude ran me over like as hard as he could. Like he was the first person to like hit me. And I remember when I hit the ground, I was like, yo, I never thought in my life I would be hit like that hard. Like to me, I started thinking about like, what if this film gets put on YouTube? What if somebody low-key clip it somewhere else? Like, yo, look at this. Like in my head, I was lost. I was like, my jaw hurting. My man got my head spinning, stomach hurt. Like I was on some lazy big shit. So when he hit me, it felt like he took everything out of me. And I'm like, bro, the whole time, he clearly just didn't care that we were on the same side of the ball. Like he just wanted to hit me.
Said, fuck
that's
it.
when I realized, right. That's when I'm like, that's when I realized you're a freshman. They don't care. You know what I mean? And I was just like, damn, welcome to college, my guy. You know what I mean?
Looking at, that was your welcome to college moment. Was there a point where you felt like, okay, I belong here. I'm that guy. I can actually do something and have success here?
Truly, I want to say I've always felt like that because as like, you know what I'm saying, as you should in the first place, but truly being able to feel that,
right,
not until this past season. I would truly say not until this past season, all season, all that stuff, because I truly like transformed myself. Like I said, I buried the old guy and I transformed into something that is like not on no crazy stuff talking about some like demonic, but like just a crazy dude. Like I feel like now when I'm out there, like I'm just out there to snap. Like, I'm trying to take I'm trying to grab your neck. Like I'm out there on some crazy shit. Like there was a play that I had made during Michigan week, actually. So Michigan, to me, I'm glad I'm on the call with y'all because I can't really describe this feeling with anybody else when I'm talking about the Michigan rivalry. But it's almost like how we are with HF.
Right.
It feels just like that. It feels just like that, but obviously 10 times worse.
No question.
So this week, so the energy is, you know how the energy is during that week. Coaches on tip. You better make every single play right. You're gonna be yelling just for no reason. Not saying that college is like that, but it is. Just because it's that week. You want to win that week. You want to have the bragging rights. And man, I had fight off the ball. Like, it looked like you could have thought I was cheating, as if I knew the snap count. Just dipped, missed the tackle because the guard pulled. The tackle came down to block me, slipped that, and it was like as the running back was getting the ball, I was right there. Wrapped him up, rolled over, and got up yelling on some anime shit for real. Because it was like, yo, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I knew I could do it this whole time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that come down to just truly believing in yourself. Like, you ain't got to fire off the ball like that, but I did. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I ain't had to finish him like that, but I did. That's what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, as far as like, to me, I see it as like a resume builder. Whenever I'm out there, I know I got to, not saying cocky that I got to perform every play, that I got to play, but you're going to know when Dashaun is out there, 100%. Right. You're going to know when I'm in. And that's just how I always saw it. So to me, it's like when I made that play, I don't know. And it's like, obviously, words don't do it just without y'all seeing it. But I know, like, me making that play, to me, it was like, that defined who I was. Quick, precisive, destructive. Like, I'm there. You know what I mean? Just like, let me ball. You know what I mean?
Definitely, bro. Like that. But so you got your first big action. Saw a lot of plays, a lot of rotation against Western Michigan. What was that game for you like? Being able to be out there a lot, the preparation, all that took to be there. What was that moment for you?
Yep. So we played Western Michigan. I want to say that was my,
I think sophomore year, right?
Yeah, I want to say it was my redshirt sophomore year or freshman year. We played Western Michigan, and I think that, leading up to that week or during that week, my coaches had told me like I was up in the rotation to play. So to me, I was already kind of seeing that week a little bit differently. To me, it was like, okay, if I actually get to go out there, I know I got to perform so they know that, like, so they can rock with me. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, like I said, I was a young cat on the roster or the youngest in the room. So to me, like I said, I had to prove myself. And that week, I want to say, that was a little minute ago, but I want to say I definitely had a good little practice. And I remember it was like late second quarter, maybe early third. And I remember my D-line coach had looked at me. Yo, my heart almost dropped. He was like, go ahead, show me something. Yo, I damn near, like in my head, I was dancing up and down and stuff like that. Because I was just like, yes, like, okay, he trusts me, he trusts me. And for some reason, of course, funny joke, like pop your cherry or whatever, but I remember looking at the sideline, didn't remember where I was. Couldn't tell you not one play. Damn near probably could have shit in my pants. I would have never known. Like, I was just like, damn, you get your goofy self out here and you just not that I messed up. Like, I snuck at it very quickly. But I remember just being right there, looking over, and I was like, damn, okay, I'm finally out here. And I don't know, oh my gosh, I'm out here playing college, blah, 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 blah. But it was like, okay, you got yourself, you didn't work hard enough to finally get on the field on a Saturday night. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then it was like after that, after every play or getting the play calls, it wasn't like I was lost. It was okay, try to get in the rhythm. I was definitely out there still nervous. It was like, damn, this mug in front of me is big as hell. Definitely not high school football. I haven't played in a minute. And so it was like, dude, I mean, trying to get in tune with the rhythm of the game and stuff like that. But to me, it was truly like, it was amazing. And I truly take credit to how everything played out at the time. Like I said, I want to say I definitely had a great week that week. And there's definitely players where I can say you can tell that I had confidence in. And I think that's what kind of sparked it for me when I was in college. Also, so to say, where it was like, okay, I can do it. There were some plays that I made against the third string. I mean, it was the third string, but it was like they in college too. So to say, I still did this against a college player. So to me, it was like, if I can do that against him, if I keep working hard, if I keep doing this, sky could be the limit. So to me, like, that's how it was.
That's what's up, bro. So from your perspective, looking back on like COVID and everything, what did that season do for you during that COVID year? And then looking back, how has that helped you? And is that something you're going to take advantage of using another year, or you go into the league after this year?
COVID year definitely opened my eyes in a lot of areas as far as just mentality wise. I think it helped me slow down time a little bit. I feel like I was always just pressuring myself against time, and I don't know why. But I feel like COVID helped me just understand, like, kind of sit down in a way. But also being able to gain that extra year, it is truly a blessing to have that second year. I wouldn't say that my chances of leaving right now is high or low. I don't know yet. The season hasn't played out yet. Right. But I mean, I'm definitely very grateful to have the extra COVID year because technically right now, this is only my redshirt senior year.
Right.
About to be. So like I said, to have that COVID year in my back pocket is truly a blessing, truly a blessing.
Yeah, and you got to play all 7 of those games during that COVID season, getting that experience in. You guys went 2-5 that year, but what are some of the lessons, some of the experiences you took from that COVID season into the next season where you guys had the big turnaround?
First and foremost, I want to take into account that we were a very young team trying to learn everybody still. Like, I feel like for our season, COVID was not even existent. Then it was getting pushed out of nowhere. Then it wasn't. Then it was. Then it wasn't. And it was like we kind of had to get all together at one time and kind of just. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, you have that time from January up until August till the season starts to be truly around each other, to be truly bonded. And it's like we didn't get that. Like we had the first like truly all come together in August, try to get everything in order, or September, get everything all in order for our first game. And it was like, not saying that everything was rushed. I mean, we had to play the cards that we was dealt, and you know what I'm saying? We was ready for every single game. I think the lessons I truly take from that is one, that yes, I did play almost every single game, and I'm very grateful for that because I understand at the time that the coaches was definitely trusting me at this time. Right. They knew I knew the playbook. They knew I could execute the way that they wanted. I wouldn't say that I was trying to have my own little spaz out there, but it was, I mean, there's plays that come to you that you definitely should take, you know what I'm saying? Don't miss your shot. But I just knew that they was rocking with me a lot more than I thought they was. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that year was very important. Like I had to stay very locked in, and I took that year almost as serious as almost anybody. Like to me, that was Coach Tuck's first year. And mind you, I was still at this time, I'm like still a very top heavy guy. Coach Tuck, they made it known throughout the door, like if you coach the old roster, he don't care. He don't owe you nothing. So to me, that season was like, yo, like if I low key don't perform and they give me a shot, I'm out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying? And whether I had to take it that serious or not, I truly did. And I feel like it helped me because to this day, I'm still here. Turned my life around. I ended up losing the weight and stuff like that. But COVID year to me was truly important collectively as a team because it brought us together. We experienced that. I don't even want to say horrible experience. I want to say lesson season. I say lesson season because it was like we all understand how that feels. So that translated going into our next season, going 11-2. It was like we will never feel like that again. And whoever we played, about to get their ass whooped. Period. It got to be like that.
They did.
I mean, and then it's like if we lose, okay, we tried. We gave you our best shot. You humbled us. Sorry, but we gonna come back. You got to show us the ones. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's just our mentality. It's almost like prove it. Let's go. So,
absolutely. Looking back on the teams you were on before last year's team, did you know coming into last season that we got a good ass team here? Like we gonna make some noise.
Compared to the other ones, I'd say it was like Coach D era when I was here. I wouldn't say it was weird at all, and I wouldn't take anything from any of the senior classes that I've been under, and any team chemistry that I have been in. But I mean, it was just different. You know what I'm saying? You knew everyone had like their own cliques. It was kind of weird, but I feel like under Coach Tuck, I feel like since everybody was so young and around the same age, it was a lot easier just for everybody to bond with everybody. So it wasn't like, okay, he is senior, this is his friend group. I'm cool with him, but I know my homie not cool with him. I feel like us is all like punters hang with us. I don't know. Like everybody just collectively is one. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we learned that real early during like our winter conditioning phase where one day our coach, like, don't tell me, y'all know how winter conditioning is, man. Oh my God.
Worst thing in the world.
One day our coach in there, they're like, not trying to kill us, but you know what I'm saying? Like, putting it on us, no homo. Right. I mean, not no homo, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, we know what you mean.
But, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to, you know what I'm saying, try to tire us out, whatever, like it is. And he's sitting there blowing the whistle like, oh, y'all want to quit? Like, I could do this all day, blah, blah. And it was kind of like, you know, a couple of our guys at the time, which kind of like just walked out and was like, man, F that. Like, they got us F'd up. Like, we finna run 10, blah, 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 blah. And everybody just started yelling and jumping around. I'm like, hey, hold up. Hey, F you, coach. Blow the whistle. You know what I mean? It's like, I think right there, it was kind of like, yeah, this team, we a rider for sure. Like, we'll ride for anybody in there. And it was like from that day on, I feel like each day, like I feel like everybody's mindset is the same. Like outside of football, you can live your life, whatever it is. But I feel like when everybody's in that building, when everybody on that field, when everybody eating together, I feel like we all know the mission. I feel like we like very just all locked in together. And I feel like it's just easy to feel if you're in that building. You know what I mean? So before the season of last year, I want to say after the spring game, we was all like, yo, if we all stay locked in, if we just stay together, like F the outside noise, F the media, F the rankings, all this other stuff, we could do great things. We got to be us. We got to trust each other. And it was like, just from there, it was like, we knew we could just take it as far as we wanted to.
Now, Jaden hinted at, like, talent-wise, was this team in comparison to other teams. You played with Kenneth Walker. He was your running back. Now, what was some of the practices like that, going against him, tackling him, and dealing with the offense? But then what was the bright side of having him on your team? Obviously, you know, help the wins.
Right, for sure. I'd say for me, we had, I mean, you know how, like, winter conditions, we have OTAs and stuff like that, or how I like to say. And honestly, so there's no ball out there. And it was just like one cut he did, and you just heard him like, I'm looking like, hey, hold on, who is Buddy? Who is this? Like, he was moving so fast. Like, obviously, he was a new guy in, so I didn't really see him. Because during winter conditions, everybody have different lift times and stuff like that. So I never really saw him. And then it was like our very first OTA day. I'm talking about my man just ran up, bounced, and was running like so hard and aggressive. And I was like, yo, hold up. Is he okay? Like, who is this? And it was like, you could just tell in everybody's faces. It was like, hey, hold up. Hey, hurry up back. We finna run another play. We need you to run that again. You know what I mean? And it was like, just the more you saw him just be him, it was like, yo, this dude is crazy. Like, this dude is special. You know what I mean? And I feel like just who he was as a person, like, he definitely never let anything get to him. Like, I feel like when people are getting mentioned in, like, Heisman talk and all these rankings and top running back this, top running back that, you would think, you know what I'm saying, they'll start acting a little way, you know what I'm saying, get a little different swagger of what it was. Right. Kenneth was the same dude. Not to put his business out there, but this was the same dude asking our nutritionist every night after for Fridays after our team meals if she had Fruity Pebbles. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, this was the dude. You know what I mean? Like, my man was always in there asking for that. Like, he was just him. He was a good dude. And I feel like just who he was, this helped us identify everybody all together. Like I said, we was just very humble. We took our L's if we had them, and then we took our dubs just as bad as we took our L's. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he was a true testament to our team character, really.
That's a great point. I feel like, and you hinted on this, but your team's identity really mirrored his running style. Y'all was all rigged. He broke tackles constantly, it seemed like. The more he got the ball, the more yards he got. And then he was able to take over that Michigan game. Don't want to get too far ahead, but that shit was crazy.
Right.
But looking on last season, I feel like from my perspective, watching you, when y'all played Miami, and the way y'all handled them, like, I feel like y'all had the game in hand a majority of that game, specifically in the second half. I feel like that was the point where y'all made y'all presence known on a national scale. And now you're in talks to get into that Big Ten championship from your perspective, looking back on last season, when did when did you get that confirmation? Like, okay, we're gonna compete for the Big Ten East.
I want to say, man, right after that spring game, I ain't gonna lie. Like, man, like Coach Tug, man, he's serious, and it's like the way he delivered his message to us, the way he go about his business. Like if you can pay attention to the way he truly speaks, and I don't mean, oh yeah, I just heard what he said. No, if you can listen to what he's saying, this dude here to win. You know what I'm saying? He know what he's talking about, and it's like the way he talked to us is like, look, this is what we're here to do. This is what y'all here to do. I don't know why y'all be trying to downplay this. This is that. Can you go get a bag or not? And it's like, hell yeah. Like, who are you talking to? You know what I mean? It's like, bro, don't sell me out. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And it's like I said, it's kind of, it's like a good tug. Because it's like, you want to prove it to him so bad that we can do it. And it's like, we know he believe in us, but for some reason, damn, it ain't good enough. And it's like, all we're trying to do is prove it to him. And it's like, that's the way he go about himself. Like, we know he care. We all know he pushes us and he loves us and stuff like that. But it's like, for some reason, we just know that we got to up it every single time. And I remember, like I said, after that spring game, you know what I'm saying? We know everybody finna go home, school is out and stuff like that. So he giving us a talk. But I remember he was like, when everybody get back, like that first day of summer work, I was like, I need y'all to know, like, we on that. Day one. So don't come back out of shape. Don't come back on no bull. Have your fun for these 3 months or whatever, this month or whatever it is. Come back and we chasing this whole thing as best as we can, and we not looking back. And it was like, bad, we on that. And I remember, like I said, that first day when we came back, and it was just like, just that atmosphere. Like, even pulling into, not on no lame stuff, but even just like pulling into the parking lot, getting out your car, hearing your car beep, it was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, we back, baby. And it was just like I said, like you just walking in, everybody on that. Like, why? Oh yeah, we brewing something. Hold on. And then, like I said, so from there, like we knew it. And it's like going into that Miami game, that Sunday right after we played Youngstown State was like, look, what y'all finna do? And they're like, oh, okay, coach. Oh, okay, coach.
Right.
Bet. And like I said, so we've been doing that for a while. And like I said, not to say that disrespectfully, shout out to Miami. They gave us their best game, but we knew that ahead of time.
Right.
Now, you talked about being able to handle Miami. Now, looking at playing Miami and playing other Big Ten teams, how would you compare the Big Ten to a lot of other conferences? Is it the hardest conference in the Big Ten?
Playing other schools, I wouldn't say that we played other conferences, but I know Pac-12 is something that we played the most. But I feel like the Big Ten is up there for sure. I don't want to discredit the SEC. Everybody knows what the SEC is about, so don't even let me sit here and start lying. But I definitely say the Big Ten is like that for the simple fact that, like, I feel like the Big Ten is aggressive. Like, the way we play our style of football is like everybody always see us as like some, you know what I'm saying, like the little bros of the group. No, like you got to come over here and play that today. If you smack us, you smack us. But you got to come over here and shoot the ones. You know what I'm saying? I truly feel certain programs, of course, are the most dominant. And it's like those are also the schools that's proven it to other conferences that we can take it there. We got the talent too, type of thing.
That's a fact. Looking at last year and looking at that Michigan game.
Oh man.
While you're in that game, you're down what? You guys were down like 18 or something late in the fourth, right?
Yeah, it was. I know it was less than 20 for sure. I want to say about 17, 18.
Right. So at that point, like, what was the morale of the team? And then what was that moment where you guys kind of switched it, like, oh, we can actually win this?
I want to say, of course, at the beginning of the week, we'd always believed in ourselves. We'd always tell ourselves, like, no matter what, we're going to fight our best foot. Like, we'll never roll over. Like, we always tell ourselves that we got to be the one to finish the fight. Even if we lose, we got to somehow pull out. And I think during halftime, Coach Tuck was talking. I'm not gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? What he was saying, but it was like I said, the way he was just looking at everybody, and the way everybody was looking at each other was like, "Hey, look, I don't give a fuck no more. We gotta go out here and get this done. Who with me?" Type of thing. Like, bro, fuck it. Like, we gotta. And I'm like, you know what? I'll tell you one thing. He was talking to us, and we all was at the door, and I remember he turned around and he just looked at us, and he was like, "So what?" So when he walked off, and to me, like I said, that sounds lame, but to be in that moment, you down, you can hear the crowd like above you and shit like that. You standing next to your homies, and it's like, dog, come on, right. Who are they? Right. You know what I mean? And it's like, dog, like you look into your homie next to you, and it's like, bro, we did all this shit during the summer, all this bullshit running, all this other shit, all this extra shit, bro. We gotta whoop these niggas, bro. Like, dang, I'm my fault. But I'm like, bro, it's like we gotta go out here and you know what I mean, and just we gotta handle business. Like, regardless of the outcome, we gotta be the dudes out on top. You know what I mean? And I think when that fourth quarter hit, it was kind of like just like that. I don't know what it was. It was like weirdly like all together. Everybody just started like looking at each other. Like that was the thing. Like, too, we never pay attention to the crowd. Coach Tuck always tells us, he's like, you can't pay attention to the crowd. So it's like you can't even really hear them in a way. So it's like everybody just looking at each other. It's like, yo, like it's crunch time. It's crunch time. Get it done. We got to get it done. Type of thing. But it was like no panic though. It was like we've been here.
Right.
We do this every day during practice. You know how the Wednesdays go. You know how the Tuesdays go.
Man.
So it was just
I gotta ask you a follow-up. So obviously, Mel Tucker is now recognized as one of the best coaches in college football. And from my perspective, just looking at him and what he was able to do with the program and bring it back to prominence, and being a black head coach, was absolutely phenomenal. And you described just a great story of what makes him great as a coach. But from your perspective, being a player on his team, how would you define his greatness and what makes him great as a head coach?
I would generally say what makes Coach Tuck a great coach is the way he demands excellence. And I don't mean to say that in no scary way to where like you can't win his approval. And it's like, it's not even about approval though. Like, why show up if you're not going to give your best? And I feel like, just like I said, just his demeanor, his posture, to me, I say like he kind of give up like this little sassy mentality, but it's truly him though. Like he talked with this type of swagger to where it's like he got no choice but to do it. And I feel like as us being black, I feel like to me that's that him and him. You know what I'm saying?
That's that swagger. You get your swagger from your coach.
You feel me? So exactly. So it's like as a player, if you can understand that, if you can pick up on those vibes, it's like, hey, hold on, I'm ready to go to war for this dude.
Right, no question.
And I feel like that vibe that he give off is like, if y'all fight for me, I'm fighting for you.
Right.
And he tell us that all the time. And it's like, no matter what we do in the field, we know whatever the media gonna say, good or bad, we can just leave that to Coach Tuck. But I truly feel like his insight, his resume speaks for itself of who he is. But I feel like if you are truly under his roof, in a building with him, under his, you know what I'm saying, guidance as a coach, and you a player, I feel like the way he speaks, you able to like see it in a different way. It's like before games, in daily meetings, like just his approach to like, man, it's so hard to say. Like it's one of the things where like you truly got to be in there. He truly talks from a place of heart. So it's like you can never be like, oh, this dude shady, or this dude not up front. None, like you can just hear how serious and passionate he is. So it's like you got no choice but to like not understand his cravings or understand like his methods, but it's like you understand where he coming from, like from almost anything that he brings up, type of thing.
Okay, now we talked a little about Mel Tucker. Do you have another Mel Tucker story for us?
Funny story.
Funny story.
Seems like a serious man, but you know.
Right.
Okay, I don't even know. So okay, I feel like this is another in the moment type of thing. Probably shouldn't even be saying this, but hey, look, Coach Tug, you my guy. But COVID year, we playing Penn State, and
Right.
we was lucky. You know, I wouldn't say we was getting them run for their money, but okay, we was the last stuck in the Big Ten in that year. But I mean, we was, you know what I'm saying? We was hanging with them for real. To us, we saw that as like a championship game. Not to say we saw it as a championship game, but I mean, we was out there competing.
Right.
But I mean, we was losing, I believe, and Coach Tug low-key was hot. I mean, as every coach should be, your team losing. And he was chewing like a Nature Valley bar, right? And he had on his mask and stuff like that. And me, like, we was kneeled down, and we just knew he was gonna start yelling. Dog, he chewing the mess out this bar. He yanked out his mask, and the first word he like say the F word like hard, like so you know that F was like, fuck. Yo, he spit out some of that like granola bar onto my man's. And it was like one of them points was like you couldn't even laugh. First of all, I'm sitting in the front and I see like a grain pass me, but I see like a kernel hit dude on the lip. A piece got stuck on his forehead. Like, yo, he looking at me and I'm looking at him and I'm like, I'm talking about I'm fighting back everything in my willpower, not to crack a smile, nothing. Till he turned around, dog. I would say, like, I wish I could laugh, but it was like one of the moments, like, you had to be in them moments to just be like, yo, the funniest thing ever. But other than that, no, Coach Tuck really do be on some, like, real serious stuff. Like, you can never really catch him slipping, though. So I say that's, like, the only thing I can say.
Damn. So from your perspective, going back to last season, playing against Ohio State, obviously, that's the game to submit your ticket to, right. That's the game to submit your ticket. So obviously that week y'all locked the fuck in. Clearly, we already know the prep was A1. Y'all probably had a great week of practice, and then y'all come out on Saturday and you see the output of what happened. From your perspective, what do you feel like went wrong? And then looking on to this year, like, what do you think some things that you just have to get better as a overall team to be able to get over that hump?
First and foremost, I'd like to say we definitely had a good week of practice that week. Like I felt like
no question.
I felt like we were hitting on all syllables. Like you know how those days being practice, even when your defensive coach be like, oh yeah.
Right.
Oh
everybody
yeah, you know what I
mean?
mean?
Everybody locked in.
That's what I'm saying.
Training staff, everybody.
Exactly.
Motherfuckers holding the waters. Everybody locked in that week. I know they were.
Man, I'm talking about like I feel like just all around the building was just good vibes. And it was like not saying that we was holding our head how like, oh yeah, we coming up this weekend with a dub. But it definitely was like, yo, we definitely finna come out here and do what we gotta do type of thing.
Right.
And I don't know, like to me, I wouldn't say that I'm superstitious or I'm like not no deep freak like that, but I feel like I woke up that Saturday and was like, yo, for some reason, something off. I don't know what it is, but something off and I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? And it was like I got down to team breakfast. I'm just looking around. I'm like, yo, I wonder does everybody feel like this? And it was just like the way everybody was talking, at least how I was hearing it, just the way everybody was talking was like, yo, I don't hear no confidence right now. What's going on? You know what I mean? And it was like, there was, like, you can hear it, but then it was like, you couldn't hear it, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't holding no weight type of thing. And, like, that's just in my eyes. And it was like, yeah, I definitely could have said something, but it was like, how could I have said something if I didn't feel nothing either? You know what I'm saying? That's how I knew. That was okay. If it don't sound right coming from you, that's how I know something wrong. And it was just like going out there, I wanted to say it was kind of like, and we played Ohio State after that Purdue game. And I feel like Purdue game, we definitely wasn't stuck on that. But it was like, damn, okay, they buzzed us in the mouth. Now we got to bounce back. And I feel like, shit, take too many blows. I mean, you got to play the cards that you dealt type of thing. And I feel like after that game, it wasn't really no yelling. It wasn't like, oh, you MFers, blah, blah, blah. No, it was, I hope y'all know we shot ourselves in the foot type of thing. And it's like, we genuinely did. Because nobody came out there with no type of swagginess, no cockiness, none of that. And it's not to say cockiness is a good thing, but you know, if you're feeling good about yourself, you definitely finna play up to par. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like none of that from nobody. And that's like I said, not to disrespect nobody on my team, not to discredit no guy, because it wasn't on my part either. But it was just like, you could just tell, like there was just some off. And it was just weird. It was just weird. Not to blame that on anything. Ohio State came out there, clearly gave us their best game. But, I mean, not to say that we rolled over, but, I mean, the outcome is the outcome. And I feel like going into this year is like we understand that whatever how that loss played out to be, I mean, we just got to do what we got to do to not let it happen again. Like, we just know that going to this week is going to be this year is going to be a way different game because it got to be. That, like I said, that's just our mentality. It's like, okay, you beat us, now you got to show us the ones, though. Like, you can't just say that you beat us and we rolled over. Nah. So, like I said, that's not the trash talk the future or nothing like that. I mean, I just know when the time comes, we're going to put our best foot forward. They're going to put their best foot forward. And, I mean, the best going to come out on top.
Now, so what should we expect from you and Michigan State this season, upcoming season?
I expect great things from the team. Like I said, I see the same thing that I saw last season, just passion and hunger. And, I mean, the fruits of my labor coming from my team. I mean, if everybody's eating, we all eating. So I don't think expecting certain things or singular things from me is to discredit my team. I feel like as long as the team is winning, as long as the team playing strong, I'm playing strong, and I'm winning also.
Sir,
do you feel like now going into your redshirt senior year, do you feel like you're a leader of the team and you not only that, but a leader of the D-line as well?
Yes, I genuinely feel like I'm one of the leaders. Maybe not like the public eye captain leaders, but I definitely feel like I'm the leader of the team. As far as any of those guys know for a fact, they can come up to me. I'm one of those guys that, I mean, no matter what the situation is, you need a ride, you need to get picked up. Like I said, no matter what it is, I'm that guy they can come to. And I'm not afraid to speak the real, you know what I'm saying? So especially like when freshmen come in, you know, like, and I also remember the time when I was a freshman coming in, asking those deep questions like, so what is college? Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm not afraid to sit there and be like, look, freshman, enjoy your time, but just know at some point you got to snap out of the la-la land for real. You know what I mean? And like I said, and especially at the D-line, I feel like I'm definitely one of the guys in the room to where I'm a vet. I can generally consider myself a vet in the room to where, like, even now, sometimes it be driving me crazy when some of the guys be like, yo, what up, OG? Hey, hold up, chill. Hey, hold up. Who you call OG? You know what I'm saying?
That's the worst feeling.
For real. I'm like, hey, hold up. I feel like I just got here. But, I mean, it's just crazy to even feel that. But it's, like, also a great feeling when they come up to you and be like, man, how you do this? Or blah, 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 blah. Or like, do you remember this time? Or just like when they come up to ask you questions because it's like you got stuff to say. You know what I'm saying? You got experience, which is even crazy to think about until the time comes. You be like, dang.
But so one of the last questions I wanted to ask you, Jaden, you can get a last question, you know, don't worry. Like he be always be like, hey, you ain't let me ask this question, you ain't let me ask.
No, go ahead.
So one of the ones I wanted to ask you is, we asked Isaiah, we asked all our other guests, that at their position in the NFL, who are their top 5 guys? So let's go top 5 interior defensive linemen. Who are your top 5 guys?
Top 5 interior. Off rip, I got to go with AD.
Yeah, it's easy enough.
You got to go with AD. I like Daron Payne. He played for the Washington team. He's from Bama. He's a nice gritty nose tackle. I got to go with Ndamukong Suh. I like how aggressive he is. Although, yeah, he
very
dirty.
Aggressive.
I like the mentality, though, because it's like, fuck it, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Fuck him.
Sometimes.
Hopefully you ain't stepping on nobody or nothing like that.
No. I wouldn't take it that far. But it's like I can understand at least to where, like, I'm out here on that. But
yeah,
I say him, though. I say him. Grady Jarrett. I got to give it to Grady.
Yeah, he's
Jarrett.
another good one.
He's a beast.
What is that? 4? One more? Ooh. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but I don't think so. I say nose tackle, D tackle. I like Hargraves from the Eagles. I can't think of his first name, but 67. I want to say.
Oh yeah, Javon. I think Javon Hargraves.
Javon. Yeah.
Yeah, he cold.
I
No,
like
he
him.
took off last year.
I like it. Not 97, season 7. I like him.
Mm.
But that's a solid list. I ain't even gonna lie. Hold on.
No,
It is a lot of
a good
underrated
list.
guys.
Dominic Sue is questionable, but we're gonna lean on your
doing
expertise.
his thing, though.
No,
that's
yeah,
what I'm
of
saying.
course.
He was doing his thing.
And he always getting a bag, even though it's for 1 year. He'll go get a bag anyway. But we can end it with this. So, looking back in your football life, I feel like every level you've been at, you've had to make some type of adjustment. Whether it was in high school, the grades, you had to lock in on that piece. College, you said going into your right in the middle of your career, you had to lose all that weight and really lock in. Like, okay, if I don't prove myself with this new coaching staff, I could potentially be out. And a lot of guys might have took the easy way out and transferred around that time, but you were able to grind it out. And now looking into going into next year, where your team, not only do you have a great team, but you have a great opportunity to really take off on a national scale individually and really punch your ticket to the NFL. So looking back at all that we just discussed today, from your perspective, what is one thing that you could equate just being able to get over those humps and be in a position now where you can make your dreams a reality?
Bottom of my heart, I truly say be willing to gamble on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be willing to tell yourself the truth. Be willing to dig deep and, solve your own maze. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the sun gonna shine without you, regardless. So the days you get to see it, you got to make the best of it. And whatever your mentality is, you got to wake up with some type of hunger to go get something. You know what I mean? And I feel like I've just got destined to play football. So I feel like no matter what day it is, what time of the season it is, I go out there and my mind is I got to get it back regardless. And I go back to say, you can't care about nobody out there. I generally love all my teammates, but in between them lines, you in the way of my bag. And no disrespect, I got to get mine. You know what I'm saying? So I say, looking back at everything, I say, truly be willing to, skydive without a parachute. Trust yourself to fall and land on your feet. You know what I'm saying? And don't hold yourself to no regrets. Truly talk your shit to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Prove it to yourself at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? What do you see when I like to say to myself, what do you see when you brush your teeth every morning? Like, you know what I'm saying? Can you admire yourself? Do you pay attention to the little things about yourself? You truly got to dive deep to you when it comes to you. You know what I mean? And I feel like when you're able to resurface yourself, regather yourself, and understand your wants and needs and separate both of them, I mean, the sky is beyond whatever limits you hold yourself to. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I say.
Definitely couldn't have thought of a better question to ask, Jay. That was perfect. Dashaun, that was perfect answer. Thank you for coming on and doing this interview with us, man. Talked about a lot of great things. Your story is great. A lot of people could have definitely got a lot from this. And shit, we're a big supporter of you. We're going to be watching every Michigan State game this week. Hey, give the East hell, Ohio State and Michigan. But like I said, we're wishing you the best this season. Do your thing, man. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate that. Y'all have a good night.
You too, man.
Beautiful, gorgeous girl. Doesn't have to do too much, but she's boring. That's the only problem that I'm having with her.
Shit, if you ain't never anybody's first choice, something wrong with you. I'm sorry.
It's like, girl.